Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you my OWLS TBR. The OWLS is a readathon that happens throughout the entirety of April, and it's based on the exams that students at Hogwarts have to take in their, I think it's 4th years, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, it's hosted by Geo from Book Roast, and I will link her original announcements video down below. She always puts a lot of work into it and it looks really great. So I'm excited to announce my TBR and to try and join this year. I tried to join last year and I failed miserably at it, so hopefully I'll do better this year. At least this year I don't have to take my exams at the same time, so that should probably help. So part of the OWLS is to pick a career that you want to participate in, that you want to try to get to after your exams. For that I have picked the Hogwarts professor career. It was very difficult for me to pick an actual career because so many sounded interesting and fun, but I decided that Hogwarts professor was the closest thing to what I am considering becoming in real life, which is a high school teacher. Ignore the ping. So to become a Hogwarts professor, you have to complete 7 subjects for your OWLS. One of which is DADA, Defense Against the Dark Arts. Another is the subject in which you want to become a teacher, and then you can pick 5 other subjects yourself. So basically you have to do the Defense Against the Dark Arts prompt, but the other 6 are up to you. Since that's very open, I've decided to pick a book for every prompt there is, and then while April is going on, I can see which of the ones I'm more in the mood for, and hopefully that will make it easier to actually complete this readathon. So for the subject that I would like to become a teacher of, I really like the idea of teaching charms. So I'm going to try to fit the charms prompts into it, but also I think the Muggle Studies professor will probably be easiest for me to complete because I read a lot of contemporaries and a lot of non-fantasies. So that will probably be easier to fit into the books I actually want to read. So I'm probably going to try to become a teacher in one of those 2 subjects. And I will probably decide in August when the newts are which one I'll actually become based on which prompts are easier then. Okay, so I'm going to go for every prompt in alphabetical order and tell you which book I've decided to pick for that. The first subject you can take is Ancient Runes. The prompt for which is Heart Rune. Pick a book with a heart on the cover or in the title. For that prompt, I have decided to read Jack of Hearts by L.C. Rosen. There is obviously 2 hearts on the cover and there's also heart in the title, so that should definitely fit. It is a contemporary about a gay boy. I'm not sure what it's about exactly. The blurbs on the front say sometimes coming out is easy, staying out is hard, which sounded really interesting to me. And when I bought this, the person selling it said that if I liked Simon First Homo Sapiens Agenda, that I would probably like this book as well. And since I really liked Simon First Homo Sapiens Agenda, I am excited to give this a try. Oh, it's Jack of Hearts and other parts, not just of hearts. The next subject you can take is Arithmancy. Magical qualities of number 2, balance and opposites. Sorry, I keep looking away because that's where my laptop is with the screen. I'm going to move my laptop so it will be a little bit less obvious. Pick something out of your comfort zone, outside of your favorite genre, which is easier than comfort zone, so yay. For that I picked Faking It by Kay Bromberg. I don't have that book myself, so I will add a picture of it here. And that is the book that I'm reading for a book club in April, so I wanted to read that book anyway. It is on Script and I have the 30-day free trial because of the virus on Script. So yes, I'm excited to actually read that and participate in my reading club, book club over on Instagram. So yes, that is another book. I'm not sure what it's about. I know it's an adult or a new adult romance, which isn't something I read very often. I do like romance a lot, but I usually stick to the young adult romance. So I am considering that outside of my favorite genre, because adult romance and new adult romance is a different thing from young adult romance. So yeah, that is my second book that I've picked. And then the next subject is Astronomy, night classes. Read the majority of this book when it's dark outside. For that I've picked And a Happy New Year by Holly Bourne. I mostly picked this because it's really thin, so that will make it easy to read at night. This is the 4th book in the Spinster Club series. It's a novella, I think. It's not one of the main series. And I'm not completely certain what it's about because I've only read the first 2 books in the series, so I would have to read the third book before I can get to this one. But I think I've also put the third book on my Owls TBR, so that will be fine. Yeah, I am really excited to read this if I can get through the third book as well in April. Otherwise I won't read this and I won't pick Astronomy. The entire series is about 3 friends who meet in university, Evie, Lottie and Amber, and they all have their own stuff going on, and each book centers around one of the main characters. The first book centers around Evie, I think, and it's about her mental health and her struggles with OCD mostly, and also friendship. Friendship plays a major part in all 3 of the books, which is something I really enjoy. And the second book was about Amber, I think. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, so I'm not sure which name belongs to which character. But the second book was about, I think, Amber, and it was about her struggles with her relationship with her mother. And that was also very interesting. So I really enjoy these books, and I really enjoy Holly Bourne as an author. So I am excited to read this, but I would have to read the third book in the Spinster Club series first. Then the next subject you can take is Care of Magical Creatures, for which the prompt is Hippogriffs. Read a book with a beak on the cover. This was a very difficult pick for me because I have no idea which books have beaks on the cover and which don't. And most of the books that I could find that have beaks on the cover are fantasy books, which overall I don't really enjoy that much, or at least I don't read it much. I have no idea if I'd enjoy it or not because I haven't read a fantasy book in years, even though I keep trying to and I keep putting them on TBRs. I just never actually pick them up. But for that I have picked 3 books, and one of which will be the one I pick to read for this prompt if I get to this prompt. The first book that is a maybe for this prompt is 6 of Crows, which I will find somewhere here. 6 of Crows. The beak on this one is very small and hidden, but there is a beak right here a little bit, so I'm counting it. And 6 of Crows is a book that I've heard a lot about, and I'm really excited to give a try. It is quite big though, and it is a book that I've had on my shelf for a while because I was so excited about it but still haven't picked up. It's by Lee Bardugo, and it's about a group of misfits or criminals, I think, and a heist, and I don't know much more about it other than that it's had a lot of hype, so I'm excited to give it a try and see if I agree with all the hype. Another book that I could maybe pick for this prompt is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This obviously also has a crow and a beak on the cover. I have already read the first book in the series, but I've never read the others, so I do want to read all the books, and I would have to read the first one for that first. Also, the audiobook of this is on Spotify, so I could listen to it instead, which is why I picked this one, so I could have some audiobooks on here as well maybe. And then the last one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stones. I am assuming everyone knows what that's about, but there is a beak on there. There are 2 owls on there and they both have beaks, so I could also reread Harry Potter for this, and I've wanted to actually read through the entire illustrated edition for a while, so that is also definitely a maybe. I'm going to just put this one back on the shelf because it's so big. Then the next prompt is for charms. The charm is Lumos, and for that you have to pick a book with a white cover. For that I have picked All the Places I've Cried in Public by Holly Bourne. This is about a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship, and it takes place after the main character has broken up with that person, and she's retracing her story, I think, and thinking back on it and realizing how unhealthy it was. At least that's what I think it's about. I picked this up because it's by Holly Bourne, and every book I've read by Holly Bourne I really loved, so I'm excited to read this, and it's obviously a white cover, though the spine isn't white, which is why it was quite difficult to find on my bookshelves. But yes, I'm really excited to read this one, so I am hopeful to get to this one. And since I want to become a charms professor, that is an easy one for me as well. Then the next subject is Defense Against the Dark Art, for which the prompt is Grindylows. Read a book that takes place by the sea or by the coast. That was very difficult because I wanted to mostly read books I haven't read yet, and I have no idea if those take place by the sea or by the coast. G from Book Roast has also created a spreadsheet where you can recommend books to other people. So I mostly just looked through that to see if there were any books I owned. So that's the books I'm going to show you right now. If I happen to read another book for a different prompt that takes place at sea, I will probably switch that out because I have no idea what takes place at sea or whatnot. So I have also no idea if these books actually take place at sea, but they were recommended as taking place at sea or by a coast. So hopefully they actually take place there. I have picked 2 books for that, one of which is a reread, and that is The Siren by Kiara Cass. I've already read this book and I enjoyed it, mostly because I really love Kiara Cass's writing style. I didn't enjoy the story of this as much as I enjoyed the Selection series, but I still really liked it. This is about a girl who becomes a siren, like the mythical creature, and she doesn't really like that because she has to kill people for that. And yeah, that's basically what it's about. And it's a love story as well, because she falls in love with someone. And yeah, I did really enjoy this, so I might reread this because I definitely know for certain that this takes place mostly at sea or at the coast. And then the other book I have picked for this prompt is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which is a big one, so I'm not sure if I'll get to that. But I am really excited to read this book. I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I read on the spreadsheet that it takes place at the coast, which now I see that there's actually a little boat on the cover, so that's pointing in the right direction for that as well. So I don't really know what this is about. I know it's a historical fiction novel. I think it's a romance as well about a gay character in the, I don't even know what century this takes place in. It also isn't on the synopsis, but I think it's about a road trip in Europe with a gay main character, and it takes place in a historical setting, and that sounds really interesting to me. So that is also on my TBR. My hair is so annoying. You can see all my hair now because it was starting to get annoying. The next prompt is for divination, which is Third Eye. Assign a number to all of your books and pick one through a random number generator. I did this off camera and I now realized I should probably have done it on camera because that would be more fun for you. But I ran through to my Goodreads TBR where all of the books have a number on them already. And then I used a random number generator and I got the number 53, which coincides with What's a Girl Gotta Do by Holly Bourne, which also happens to be the third book in the Spinster Club series. So that's really great because that if I read this, I can easily read the Astronomy prompt as well, which was the fourth book in that series. This is the third book in the Spinster Club series, as I said. I already explained a bit about what that's about. This one in particular is about, I think it's Lottie. Yeah, it's Lottie. I was right last time, thank God. Yeah, it's about Lottie and it's about feminism. All the books have elements of feminism in it and are feministic, but this one especially is centered around it. So that's very interesting, and I love reading books about feminism. I've enjoyed a lot of the books about feminism that I've read. So I'm excited to give this one a try. I also realize now that 3 of the books on my TBR are from Holly Bourne. But yeah, she really is a writer I enjoy a lot. And there are some books that I haven't read yet by her that I do own. So I want to get to those. The next subject is Herbology. The prompt for which is Mimbulus Mimbletonia, for which you have to pick a book that starts with the letter M. I again went for my Goodreads to see which books I had that start with letter M, and I found that I don't have many at all. But for this I have picked My So-Called Bollywood Life by Nisha Sharma. This is about a girl who really likes Bollywood films, and she's grown up with believing that people can tell the future, I think. She's grown up convinced her future is written in the star, and her family's pandit. I'm not completely sure what that is, but I think it's some type of Indian fortune teller, predicted that she would find the love of her life when before she turned 18, and so she thinks she's already found the love in her life with her boyfriend, but then her boyfriend breaks up with her, and then the story continues, and that's just a couple of months before her 18th birthday. So I'm interested in this. It sounds really interesting, and I haven't really read much books about Indian main characters. I hope she's actually Indian. If not, I'm really sorry. I haven't read it yet. But anyway, not set in like Bollywood's culture and life. So I'm really interested to give that a try. So yeah, I am excited to get to this book, and it looks really fun as well. Then the next prompt is for the subject History of Magic. The prompt for which is Witch Hunts. Pick a book with witches or wizards in it. I, again, don't know which books that I'm excited to read have that, because I don't have many books that I'm really excited to read with magical elements in it. But I have picked a couple that I could maybe read, one of which is, again, the first Harry Potter. If I don't read that for the Crowds prompt, the Beak prompt, I can read it for this prompt. Another book is Narnia. This is the entire Narnia series, which I definitely wouldn't read, but I think every book has a witch or wizard in it from Narnia, so I could read the first book in this if I want to. I think I also tried that last year for the Owls Readathon, but last year it just went terrible, so I could retry. And then another book that I picked for that prompt is Carry On by Rainbow Owl. I have already read this book, but I liked it a lot and I've been wanting to reread it, so this could be the perfect opportunity to give this a reread. But again, this is a very chunky book and I won't read a lot of books. I want to at least get the Owls for the professorship, so that means I have to read 7 books, which is a lot. So not sure if I'll get to the chunky ones, but maybe. Then the next prompt is for the subject Muggle Studies. The prompt for which is read a book from the perspective of a Muggle. Read a book from the perspective of a Muggle, which means just a contemporary, and this was super easy for me and I have bookshelves filled with contemporaries. So for that I've picked Break the Fall by Jennifer Jacopelli. This is a book about gymnastics and I've been really interested in reading this since I found out about it back in July at JELC. It came out in February and I haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but I really want to. I'm not completely sure what it's about. I think it's about oppression a bit, because it says like break the silence, break the lies. So it's about things that are kind of hidden within the world of gymnastics. But mostly I just knew it was about gymnastics and with young adults, which made me want it so badly, because everything else I've read about gymnastics or watched about gymnastics I loved. Like that's the only sport I'll religiously watch during the Olympics, and when I find out like Worlds or something is on TV, I'll watch that because I just love watching gymnastics. So I'm really excited to read this book, and this will probably be the first one I pick up from all of these. Then the next subject is potions. The prompt for which is shrinking solutions. Pick a book with 150 pages or less. This was really difficult for me because I don't own any books that I haven't read yet that are less than 150 pages. But like I said, I had script for a couple of days, with like half of April I think I still have script. So I've decided to read Fence Volume 3 for that. I own and read the first 2 Fences and enjoyed them a lot, so I wanted to give the third volume a try. Fence is a graphic novel. I can't remember by who it is, but I'll put it on screen. And yeah, it's a really fun graphic novel. It's about fencing, obviously, and that's it basically. It's very short. It's about rivalry, I guess, and it's just fun. So yeah, I wanted to give the third volume a try. And then the last prompt is for Transfiguration. The prompt for which is Animagus Lecture. For that you have to read a book or series that includes shapeshifting. This was again really difficult, but I ended up going with 2 potential books, one of which is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I tried to read this book for the Backlist Readathon and I did not get even a single page into it, but I have been wanting to give this book a try, so that is the one I picked. Again, when I went to the spreadsheet with recommendations, and this was listed a couple of times under shapeshifting, so I'm hoping it includes shapeshifting. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling though, so I'm assuming it does include some form of shapeshifting. And then the other book I picked to maybe read for this prompt is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to Six of Crows, so if I read that and I end up really loving it and wanting to continue, I could continue this book for that prompt. For this prompt, I mean. I don't know if there's actually shapeshifting in it, but it was listed on the spreadsheet as having shapeshifting in it. So I hope it does. If you've read it and you know whether or not it does, please let me know, because from what I know of it, I don't really know how many fantasy elements are in this series, because I mostly know about it like thieves and heists and stuff like that, which none of that has to be fantasy. So let me know if there's actually shapeshifting in this, but it was on the spreadsheet as having shapeshifting, so this is the other book I picked for that prompt. And yes, those are all the books I picked to read this month. I'm not going to read all of them, don't worry, that would be way too much, but I will read at least one book that's set at a coast. So if you've read any of the books I mentioned that I didn't mention specifically for that prompt, that you know are set at a coast or at sea, please let me know, because I'm still not sure which book I want to read for that, but maybe it will be the selection, the Siren I mean, or the Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and then I will read 6 other books, probably at least the Muggle Studies one, and can you see? Yeah, maybe the charms one as well, because I do like the idea of teaching charms. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you're also joining the Owls, please link me to your videos, or if you didn't make a video, just let me know in a comment which books you picked for which prompts and what career you're trying to achieve, because I'm really interested in hearing all about what you picked and other great books you enjoyed or think you'll enjoy. Also, if you've read any of these books that I picked and think I should definitely read them, or I shouldn't, that's also okay, I guess. If you didn't like them, also let me know. But yeah, let me know why, without spoiling preferably, because I haven't read them yet. But yeah, make me excited to read them, because I'm much more likely to pick them up then. Yeah, so anyway, if you like this, leave a comment, leave a like, please subscribe if you haven't already. There will be a picture of my face, I think on this side of the screen, and 2 videos on this side that will be picked by YouTube. I think one of them will be my last video and the other, who knows, but hopefully one you enjoy. Thanks for watching, bye!